life that got you twisted. Things getting sideways. It's time to unfuck it. The Unfuck It podcast.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Unfuck It. This is our podcast where we talk about all things in the world of work that are fucked. Gosh, no, there's plenty of them. And every day we try to pick something and we bring on somebody smart and let them talk about it. Over on the other side of the screen, depending on where you're looking at, is my co-host, Crystal Lay. How are you?
I think I'm doing pretty well. I've got a great co-host and a fabulous guest. So
True. This is great. Speaking of that guest here, well, on my screen in the middle, hopefully on yours too, is our guest today. Kate, would you like to say hi to everybody and tell them a little bit about yourself?
Hi, I'm Kate Madonna Hines-Quast. I've been in marketing entirely too long. I come from a background where all marketing people come from, of theology. So I transitioned the natural way, right?
Oh, I want to change our talking points now. I want to debate theology with you. That's another show.
Deal.
But we'll get to it.
Deal.
Cool.
And I've enjoyed.
Okay, so what are we talking about today? Everything's good, or is something fucked?
Well, there's so much fucked. But today specifically, we're talking about that MQLs are bullshit.
What are MQLs?
So MQLs are marketing qualified leads.
Okay, and why are they bullshit?
They're vanity. They're fake.
Okay.
They're the leads that tell us the impressions that Facebook thinks it's serving us, right? And counts on analytics. There's so many made up statistics that don't move sales needles or use cases forward. And I have been telling my team in the past year that I actually don't care one thing about MQLs. And if we get right, if we're doing marketing the right way, I want to take whatever I'm doing and hand it off to sales. And sales should be able to run with it because it's qualified in the way that sales needs it qualified, not in the way that marketing needs to look good because of the internet.
I feel like there just needs to be a banner that's put maybe, and I know we kind of live in a virtual world now, but like across every Zoom chat and every meeting and every office that says activity does not equal intent.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We're such an activity-based society, like whether it's the time we spend in office or the number of clicks we get on a website or the number of MQLs or whatever it is, it's activity, and filling out a form or engaging with something or spending time in the office doesn't necessarily mean that someone wants to convert. Right? It just means they're interested in whatever it is. Like, dude, I download like 30 things a week from companies I am never buying anything from. I just want to see their research.
Yeah.
100%.
So how long does it take you to unsubscribe to those? Like when they come in, do you hit unsubscribe right away?
Oh, immediately.
Yeah.
Immediately.
I'm
mad at them for making me fill out the form to get the thing to download. I'm like, just make this free. Like, I would be more likely to buy from you if you gave me ungated access. To your stuff. Like, I understand why you gate it because you have to prove that it was worth the investment to get the research, but that doesn't bring me closer to buying. So really, it wasn't worth the investment unless the ROI to you is whatever I might write about later. So it sort of depends, I guess, on what your measure of ROI is. But it certainly wasn't me filling out that form.
So back to MQLs. If someone comes to your site and says, "I'd love to read your research. Here's my email. Send it to me so I can unsubscribe." Are they considered a qualified lead? Or does it depend on the organization?
No, they shouldn't be. That should like the first step, right? That's the first step. They're nowhere near qualified. They're like a lukewarm, tepid, toes in the water. Maybe in 7 years I'll swim there. I want nothing to do with that right now. There are weeds. I think it's important that we realize, like, as marketers and as C-level leaders in marketing, the amount of statistical crap that we cover our asses with that don't serve us. To me, I think it all comes back to consent-based marketing, like Crystal brought up, right? If I don't have to give my phone number or a 10% off coupon, because that's my other rule. If it's 10% or under, I am not. If I have to give you anything for 10%, you get nothing.
Right.
Right? But
I'm just picturing a t-shirt that says, "I don't get out of bed for less than 15%.
Right? Like 15% is I kind of like you, 25% or more. And you've got
All
me
right.
to listen, right?
Okay.
And everybody has those, they decide for themselves, but everybody has those limits.
Mhm.
And for me, if we started with consent-based marketing 20 years ago, 15 years ago, when digital was getting big, we would have a much more trustworthy transactional environment right now than we do. Everybody is sick of being sold, and MQLs merely prop up the fact that we are still treating customers as transactional and not relationships.
Yeah, I mean they're junk leads. Like they really, really are. And so I know for us at GBS, like that's not something that we look at all. Like everything for us is either revenue qualified leads or pipeline qualified leads. Like it's focused on moving things that take marketing performance to business outcomes.
Good.
Right.
Yes.
That's to me, that's where everything should be, whether you're talent marketing or product or services marketing, like it should be aligned to a business outcome.
Yes. I think MQLs are the equivalent of like swiping on like the Tinder, right?
Yeah.
Like you still have to find out if you're going to end up in their freezer.
Hmm.
Like, and we're treating it like they've downloaded the white paper. They're very obviously very into us. She would like to marry me.
Right.
And we're going to be very happy forever. I'm so excited.
Yes.
I want you to know, just for a moment when you said that, I'm like, is freezer a marketing term? Like that's where we put our like. But
No.
you meant an actual freezer in a likely a dude's basement,
These are weird.
maybe at the bottom of a well. Yeah.
I scooped
100%.
you up before you had to deal with divorced dating in mass. But for those of us who did the divorced dating for any length of time, there is that moment where you go out with someone, they're like, you're gonna kill me and chop me up and put me in your freezer, and I
Right.
should never have showed up to this date, and I need to make sure that I call at least 3 people and drop my pin somewhere. Yeah, that's the thing.
100%, like just leaving my hair on the way out.
Yeah.
Like I really was here.
Yes.
Yeah, also,
I
that's
was-
what you do in marketing with cookies. Weird.
It all comes full circle. I love that.
I've always said marketing is very similar to dating. There you go. As
Yes,
like it's all kind of the
exactly.
same.
True. So how do you know if someone is a qualified dating lead, marketing lead?
Oh, wow.
If they're bullshit, then what should we be doing with them?
Well, what we really should be doing is asking sales what matters to them.
Okay.
What are they looking for, number one, to close that deal? What are their indicators that this is a qualified lead? Is it in its target market? Are they ready to buy? Right? Do they have the budget that they're ready to spend? Those are the only leads I should be really, really caring about. Can I nurture all the rest? Am I going to flirt a little? Absolutely.
Mhm.
But for me to get sales what they need, I absolutely need to qualify those leads from the get-go. And that means proper targeting, moving them into the CRM the best way, and having sales vet them through the process with reporting and so on.
Mhm.
Agreed. To me, we moved away from a lot of the marketing activities. Let me step back. B2C companies, I think, spend a good deal of time focused on a lot of the things that I'm about to talk about. B2B companies, I think, have really moved away from a lot
Yes.
of the marketing activities that we need to shift back into that are more like rev ops, right? And so like customer lifetime value, it blows my mind how much money gets spent trying to acquire net new customers as opposed to looking up front when you are starting, like when you're first starting to acquire customers, right? Like looking at what is the potential, not just for this sale, but future sales, right? Like how do I then strengthen that relationship, upcycle all of the things, right? Customer lifetime value should be calculated at jump. And that doesn't come into play for so many companies on the products and services side of B2B companies. And it definitely isn't being utilized at all in talent marketing, which is a giant miss, right? So I think on both sides, that's problematic.
100%.
And then you look at like deal conversion rates and pipeline velocity, like how long is it going to take to close this deal? Those things should all be taken into account. And they often aren't, right? Like
100%. Right? And we forget with B2B, it's traditionally much longer sales cycles. And we can shorten that sales cycle by using, it's almost like a weird bastardized traction methodology. Do I have the right contact? Are they in the right seat? And are they actually going to buy from me? Are they going to fulfill the work that they were brought on to do? Right? It's almost traction. And so I think when we're looking at it that way from the get-go, when we're literally taking our leads that we're getting and we're popping them through that, it's almost like when I make spaghetti, right? It's the thing that gets the water out of the spaghetti and feeds my kids the noodles, and helps me rinse them. And so
Yes.
we need a colander for marketing. We've so often had funnels, but no kind of stops in that process. And if we have that colander in the beginning, it spits out just the leads we want and we quickly nurture. That's what will shorten that sales cycle and what I've seen work, especially for B2B clients.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think that's such a good thing. I love the idea of like MQLs are bullshit being kind of a rallying cry, because it's not dismissing the fact that measurement's needed. It's a wake-up call, right? It's a wake-up call. Hey, are you measuring what you need to get you where you want to go? And chances are you're probably not. And there's research, I think, that supports you, Kate, in that. Gartner 2023, 2020, so it's like 2022, 2023, something like that. Gartner did some research that was talking about like where people are in the buying process when they come to you. So at the point they become a lead, how far are they really in the buying cycle? And most B2B buyers are already 70% there at the point that they are talking before they talk to a salesperson, right? So by the time they hit the salesperson, if we've done our jobs right, like they're three quarters of the way or more to a sale.
100%.
But we had to do our jobs right, right? And like that's what I was reading. I was like, but that's assuming that we set everything up correctly in the front end to get them there, right?
Right.
Like, or are we assuming that they're doing all of their own research? And if they are doing all of their own research, is the lead scoring that we're all traditionally used to capturing any of that? And my guess is it's not.
No, because there's all this different diaspora out there, right? I've got Adroll, which is doing, or Google, which is doing my retargeting, and I've got Salesforce or Pardot, which is doing my calibration and grading and mailing. Everything's got to be brought into an ecosystem in a way that makes sense for that grading to matter. Because I think we forget that that traditional funnel assumes linear behavior, right?
Yeah.
Again, it's kind of like dating, right? You're supposed to meet someone, you're supposed to grab the most magical dinner of your life, and then you're supposed to have all these series of incredible moments, maybe one good fight, and then you get married, and then you have babies and you grow old together and everybody's happy. But that doesn't bring in like that people do research and they pause and they ghost and they come back 6 months later and they're like, sorry, my position got replaced, so I got moved over here, but now I want to introduce so-and-so to you because I just thought of this while I was in the shower yesterday. And I think we forget human behavior doesn't really fit in a box. We want it to as marketers because it makes our job easy. And it makes us sell the idea of ROI to our leadership easy. But it's also bullshit.
Hey, I don't know why there's a drive-by on ROI. Like I like ROI. ROI is a good thing.
ROI is a really good thing, but real ROI is a good thing, not made up ROI that we tell leaders to give us a little bit more money in marketing, right? So I think redefining what ROI is if ROI is a closed sale, we have to look at, the CLV, the customer lifetime value. We have to look at the cost per acquisition, CPA, right? Cost per click, all of that stuff. It comes down to length of time, cost, and the fact that Crystal said, one of my favorite things, activity does not equal intent. We are busy, but are we busy in the right way?
Yeah. And I even think some of those cost metrics are almost like, almost to the point that they're activity-based metrics, right? Like the cost per click, I'm like, yeah, that's important because I need to be able to manage my budget. But the reality is that deal conversion rate, the pipeline velocity, like I need that information. Like I need to understand those numbers, like that piece of it so that I can understand how long it's going to take me to get to my business goals, right? Like to my revenue goals. And I don't know that leadership like C-suite is actually incentivizing marketing in the right way, because I think,
Agreed.
I honestly believe that part of the reason that we get stuck in these activity-based metrics is because however it came about, marketing is more or less incentivized to and measured by quantity, right? So, and I watched this with a client not too very long, not a current client, but a previous client, not too many years ago, where like I was fascinated that a CMO was choosing to focus on like the number of likes that their social posts, like that was what they were reporting up to their their CEO was like the number of likes their social activity was generating.
Mhm.
Who cares? Like, who cares? That is not going to bring you money, and it's not going to bring you candidates. It's not going to bring you anything. Why are we even looking at this? Like that doesn't matter.
So is that because there's no better metrics in marketing, or is that because you've got leaders who don't understand marketing? And so like likes are easy to understand. I understand likes, and that other guy got more likes than I got, so I want the same likes they have.
I think it's that. So I think it's that they don't really understand it. And so what they understand is quantity, right? And this CMO understood, the CEO didn't understand these metrics, but it's easy to say like, we got 1,200 likes this month, right? So that's 1,200 people that engaged with us, or 12,000 or whatever, right? Like I'm just pulling a number out of the air. But what that does is it drives lead inflation, right? Where teams are then optimizing for volume, because that's what gets the atta-girls and atta-boys, as opposed to business value.
Yep, 100%.
Right, and so, yeah.
And think of it this way, too. We transitioned away from that model when I came on. I'm at Bosch and Keyinfinity, and I handle the headsets for all the major events, right? So, like, a very important games that are coming up, all of them. And the Superb Owl events of the world, as well as the big space launches, right? Yeah. So, and we're on the big airplanes too. So I work with some really cool tech. But one of the things I told my team when I came on is like, first of all, our engagement was like, ugh. And so it was fun to build up that engagement, but I didn't care about the engagement until I had people personally reaching out. That's where we got our case studies from. Mm-hmm. That's where we sent out our thank you kits from, with our hats and our shirts and our bags, right? So when we're just reporting on those numbers, maybe the first 2 months, 3 months, great, report on those numbers. You want to see those numbers changing and going up, but those numbers do not signify leads. And that's top of the funnel stuff, right? Because even those numbers creating my case studies do not signify leads. That's marketing activity, and that goes in its own little box. But leads are over here, and it's going to take that all happening here to get to this. But this is what I usually want to report on. I always think of it as like, it's about conversion rates across the life cycle, not just totals at the top.
Right.
It's about how I'm taking them through that colander and converting them, and aligning with sales as they droop down, right? As the water moves out of the spaghetti, are these qualified leads, or are these fluff? Because so often, like Crystal was saying, we give fluff because those atta-girls are amazing and it gives us more budget to work with, but that fluff doesn't drive bottom line sales. I think systems that create revenue readiness and not just engagement signals are the systems that are most successful.
Yeah. And if you don't have that, then your sales teams pretty quickly like start working around you, because they don't trust you anymore, right? Like 100%. Your job, like the function of marketing is to drive revenue.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So I keep hearing you talking about a colander, which, and all the spaghetti stuff does make me hungry. But the way you're describing it, like, it's not a funnel anymore, right? It's a colander, and we're just trying to separate the two things. So the funnel's dead. There's no such thing. Marketing funnel's dead.
The funnel's there, right? But the funnel could be dead because the funnel on its own no longer does it. Just like water on spaghetti isn't going to get water out of spaghetti. We have to rinse it when we take it off, right? But we have to put it
No. You don't rinse spaghetti. Don't rinse spaghetti.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
You don't rinse spaghetti. You don't put oil on it.
Something. Just remember, it's a scary dating world out there. You're going to get through this.
Yeah, remember that.
Right.
For your next marriage, absolutely.
I think it's so important that marketing looks at, it was so easy to see the funnel, right? It's so easy to make these equations of beginning, middle, end. Humans love a good story. What does a good story have? It has a beginning, it has a middle, and it has an end. And if we can craft marketing around that, well, aren't we smart? I think the gurus of the world tend to simplify.
I like that word.
Simplicate. That's you. That's your new thing.
That's right. Thank you.
You own that. TM.
Simplicate.
Make that a book, Kate. That should be a book. Oversimplify.
Simplicate. But they oversimplify everything. And when we really look at it, if we're doing marketing in the right way, it should stop at certain points and get evaluated. And that funnel should go like this and like this. I heard about 5 or 6 years ago that we should really be looking at a flywheel, but it was actually the same issue in a different form. It was a spinny circle, but with no way to qualify. So that's what all of these marketing models are missing. They're missing the data and the qualification that comes with alignment with the sales team.
So how do you unfuck that?
You look at it from the inside out and you do the thing we were never supposed to do. You sit marketing down next to sales, and marketing goes, as much as it is, I want to be a gentle servant for sales. My job is to deliver qualified leads to you. And if I simply do everything in marketing speak, I'm going to miss what you need most. I'm going to miss who you're targeting, when you know they're ready to buy, and how they want to be followed up with and where they are. So I think involving sales in that marketing process is of the utmost importance to keep the two aligned from the beginning. We've been taught that marketing drives, right? And sales is just happy to be in the car. And then marketing like gives them some snacks in the backseat. We're like, okay, was this a fun road trip? And sales is like, no, it was not. This was awful. Thank you. These Twizzlers are stale and I don't want to eat this food with you. And I think marketing and sales should be in the front seat together and working together. More often than not, as companies are evolving and changing, marketing gets cut first and sales is end up going, okay, now how do I get the leads? The companies I see which are most influential with their sales, are most successful with their sales, have everybody on the same team, the same car going to the same place.
So should marketing and sales then report up to the same person?
Ooh, I don't know if anybody should go into company structure. I'm a firm believer that marketing should report to sales, because sales knows within a CRM or without a CRM if something from marketing closed. So I don't care about the reporting structure, but gosh, do I care about the communication.
I want to go back to the shape piece for a minute.
Yeah.
You kind of went on by that and I didn't get a chance to play with your reindeer games. I think it's the conversation around like, hey, the funnel doesn't work from its shape. The circle doesn't work because there's not really a good evaluation point, is a really valid one. And we actually, like I personally struggled with that a little bit, even in talent marketing. How do I bring this to a place where people can understand the evaluation points that need to happen, right? Like, because we have several evaluation points in an interview process,
Yes.
but they still talk about it like a funnel as well.
Of course.
And that doesn't work because you don't even really know where each of your hiring points are falling in this funnel. There were a couple of things when I first started marketing in the 90s. So like, this is our feel old moment. But I was actually taught about a web. Like, so I was taught the constellation method. So like any shape works, but the shape has to have nodes.
Yes.
Right. And so, they were like, you could do a spider web or you can do a constellation, and I hated spiders. So I was like, constellation's great. So like, that was kind of my first introduction into it. So like, it was almost like a graphy thing. Like, I don't want to give the company any kind of like recognition, but it's like this kind of a shape.
Yeah, 100%.
And that was cool. But I found it was really difficult for non-marketers to grasp, right? So I played around with some different shapes over the last year or so, as we're building out a framework to kind of explain marketing to non-marketers, right? And what I found has worked really, really well, and I don't know if you've used this, and if you have, I'd love to get your feedback, is the infinity loop. So
Yes.
I'm like decisions aren't linear, right? And so
I have one on my ankle. I will not show you because it will be a very unladylike thing with my leg being up, but there's an infinity loop on my leg.
Yeah, I mean, the infinity loop's a great symbol for all kinds of things, and
There's actually one in our logo.
Yep.
I love it. It's a powerful reminder that marketing does not stop at the lead, right? Marketing actually, just as sales should be involved in the first start of the process, marketing actually should be involved in the entire process through it. We give a case study from that. We write it for the sales team. I get brought on to so many launches and so many after launches to gather feedback. And I get to know the clients really, really well. So much that I've gotten invited on site for parties and other things. And I love that, right?
Mhm.
And that's that infinity loop in action, because marketing is there to support sales every step of the way. And sales doesn't stop when that contract is signed. That's when
No.
sales starts, actually.
Right. Yeah.
That's when they create an advocate out of that client. They create noise and spread from what they're doing for that client. Marketing should be involved. That infinity loop is one of the perfect symbols, I think, for marketing.
Okay, cool. So for us, it was like, okay, like as I was thinking through it, I'm like, okay, you've got input and then evaluation. Okay, now we've got a point, right? So we got to stop and
Yes.
kind of look at that. And then you've got output. Well, now we have feedback, which is another evaluation point. So stop there. And then you have recalibration, and it just kind of goes over and over and over again. If I'm thinking through it, like the left loop represents the information intake, right? And the right loop would be the decisions and outcome.
Yes.
And then each side circles back into those feedback and evaluation points. And so, so it leads into our decision framework, right? Like, so we work off of the decision engine. And so I was literally looking at an engine and kind of how all the different chambers fit together. And I was like, I think this works. Like, I think I could do this, because an engine feels very masculine, right? But not that there's anything wrong with that. Engines are awesome. And there's some really great female drivers, but just from a symbol perspective, like I feel like that might be the thing that we could start evangelizing with people and say, like, what about this shape? How could we stop talking funnel and start talking infinity loop? And there's this constant paying attention to driving back to revenue, evaluation, decisions, feedback, keep going. This relationship never dies. So
Absolutely, because isn't that what we should be doing? The funnel, all this activity and all this focus is on the top and the middle, right? And in the end, what the end traditionally of the funnel has been of like, sales has got this. It's a deal. Good job. And it's this tiny, itty bitty little bottom of this triangle. And it's not very powerful, is it? Like,
no.
no. It's kind of sad. Like you've gotten all this work and you're just like, please, sir, can I have a little bit more triangle? But like, the fact is, like, if we do something like an infinity loop, we look at it completely different, and it is a relationship. Because relationships give and take, and relationships have ebb and flows. And if we thought of our clients and our customers and our partners less transactional and more relational, we would actually have so many more clients and friends and partners and all of that.
Agreed.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you measure that in a way that a CEO will understand?
Ooh, so I think for me, like I do take that infinity loop and I stage it, right?
Mhm.
And I look at, we just had a team on site at a massive conference in
Mhm.
New York this week. And yeah, did I look at the leads that came in from the conference this morning? It's like jumping on at 6:30 a.m. Absolutely. And I'm looking at who stopped by the booth, who got demos, but I'm also looking at who was really interested from the notes and going back to my team and going, the more notes you have in here, the more I can pull over, right? That is a pre-step. That is 0.5. That is everybody getting together and making sure we have the right data to start this infinity loop. Because bad data in that loop, just like bad data with talent marketing, right? In the interview process, you can get halfway through and be like, you actually are not an engineer. You actually went to school for nursing, and I'm very confused. So, which I'm sure has happened.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. My favorite story ever is like we were advertising for one role. I don't even remember the role anymore, but it was a doctor. But what I remember is that who applied was a cherry picker. I don't understand.
Now, what's the weird part about that is while that person was out being a cherry picker, they were wearing the stethoscope and the lab coat. They had the whole dress for the job you want. It was very strange.
You know what? Good for them. Way to have that sheer audacity.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're just trying to unfuck their life, you guys.
That's it.
Probably.
That's it. That's what we're all about.
Really,
right?
100%.
your life. I don't know.
100%.
So to that end, that brings us up to my favorite part of the show, the go unfuck yourself bit, where we ask, like, what have you done? What have you changed in your world? Doesn't have to be about MQLs, right? But what have you done to change your own work style, your workplace, or work behavior to be more effective at what you do?
Ooh.
Tell us a story.
Okay. So most people that know me know I'm a multiple time cancer survivor. I've had cancer way too many times for anybody to function. And I really believe, without being super woo-woo, that my cancer was caused by my perfectionism. I have done over 700 genetic tests. I'm seen at Mayo. Mayo's amazing. And they've been really, really good to me and saved my life a few times. And we have done every genetic marker up to 2025 that they can find. And there's nothing. And they're like, oh, it could be environmental. Did you use Roundup as a kid? Like, it does not explain the sheer amount of cancer I've had. And as I dug deep into who I was and how I wanted to show up, I realized that I showed up with energy and vigor and incredible amounts of anxiety. Like, I just carried it with me every day like a backpack. And for me, it was over polishing messages that missed the moment, right? Or campaigns that launched late, that they were never ready, afraid to fail publicly, right? Oh my goodness, so much of that. And in my personal life too, with my kids, like, I think that letting go of perfectionism has dramatically unfucked my life. It's allowed me to stop worrying in one area about who perceives me, because they're a marketing qualified lead. If they're liking my Facebook, they're not going to come over for dinner, right?
Right.
It's transactional. Right. And I really, really wanted to stop having a life that seemed isolating, because I think imperfection allows for collaboration.
Yeah.
And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to show up through my very public divorce and domestic violence journey. And I'm going to show up through my cancer journey with just a dash of non-perfectionism. And it has flowed over into my work life. I was someone who, Crystal probably remembers, I was working all weekend, all night. I was writing books for people at night and working all weekend and missing out the best moments with my kids. And I've given it up. And is it really hard, especially in this climate where everybody is being let go? Absolutely. But then my job is a marketing qualified lead, not a real lead. It's not meant. And so,
I'll let you pull that together.
Right. To me, it's all about looking at what's really serving me, and my own prioritizing perfection over process really, really harmed me. And so now it's affected every facet of my life, where I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to show up how I'm going to show up. And those that are going to get it are going to get it. I'm going to do my best never to be disrespectful or rude or non-equitable, because I love everybody in my circle and I want to treat them with respect, but it's okay if they don't like me. And that was a really powerful thing.
You know, I just listened to an interview with Jamie Lee Curtis, actually, who's fantastic. She was talking to Steve Burns, the guy from Blue's Clues, and his stuff is fantastic. He's very soothing in everything he says.
He is.
But something she said that, like, kind of along those same lines, that struck with me. And she was talking about her sobriety journey. And she said, I had to come to grips with the fact that what other people think of me is none of my business.
100%.
Oof. But everybody loves you. She's like, yeah. None of my business.
She's not the first person to say that, but that's really good advice. Like, your opinions of me is a you thing, right? Like, my opinions of you is a me thing.
Yeah.
But and it doesn't have to be a you thing, or like, and vice versa, right? Like, we should keep that to, honestly, we should keep it to ourselves.
100%.
But even if we don't keep it to ourselves, I don't have to take that baggage on. You don't have to take my baggage on. Like, we can just kind of say, like, okay, well, that's your problem. But I wanted to recognize, like, I have known you online for a fairly long time now. And I've seen that journey and transformation. And I remember at one point, like, we talked about working together on a book, actually, because, like, I am forever 3/4 of the way writing a book. Like, I have like 4 different books that have over 200 pages written, and I never finished them. So,
I gotta say, like, writing your first book is a very satisfying feeling. And I remember when we're talking about your stuff. Go ahead.
Tinder's awful. I just want to remind Tinder's awful.
I want to remind you that, like, I am a light sleeper and you are a heavy sleeper.
This is all true.
I can absolutely put a pillow over your face. So anyway, so there was a point where we were talking about having you ghostwrite a book, right? And we had kind of talked about it. And we were kind of collaborating back and forth. And you were so busy. You were just so busy. And I remember there was this point where you and I had a conversation about, like, is this additive for you or is this taking away from your life? And I'm so glad that, like, you had the ability in this space to say, like, this is not the right thing right now. And then I watched everything you did after, and I was like, oh, I'm so glad she stepped back with them, because look at all the fabulous things she got to do which is a weird thing to say on a podcast and this might get edited out. But the point that I'm trying to make is like, it's been really cool to watch your journey and to watch you kind of self-discover stuff and be vulnerable online kind of helped me feel like, oh, okay, I've always kind of lived out loud and been a little messy, but I've always been really worried about the way that I would be perceived by certain people. Like, I know this person's going to give me static, right? Like this person's a hater. And I know when I put this out, like I'm going to get crap. And so it's kept me from sharing a lot of things that I would normally want to share because I didn't want to go through that. And the anxiety is real. And there's something about, there's something about that where you're like, I just don't want to experience the ridicule or the rejection. So I'm just not going to do it. And you think like that's safer, but it's not really because you carry that too. And so Rand Thorne, whose last name is no longer Thorne. Kruger, thank you. I'm sorry. My brain I had too much caffeine earlier this morning and now the caffeine's like spent. So yeah. So Rand Kruger said something, I guess it was like 10 years ago. She's like, yeah, maybe it wasn't quite 10 years ago. When you hit 40, like you get to this place where you're like, fuck it, I don't really care what you think. And I was like, yes, no. Because at that point I was 37. I hadn't hit 40 yet. And so I was like, no, okay, whatever. Like, she's right. Like,
it's true.
It wasn't quite 40. It was more like 45 for me. I'm a late bloomer. But at like 45, I was like, you know what? Fuck this, man. Like, I just want to live. And if you don't like the way I live, that's really not my problem.
Yes.
That's your problem. So we got to have a lot more fun. And I think as a company, we're having a lot more fun because
good job.
I'm less worried about, and I'm not going to say I don't ever worry about it because I do pay attention to it, but I'm less worried about, what is someone going to think if we share that we won these awards? Like, is it going to seem braggy or, will it be good? What happens if, we did all this stuff and now this company just did their colors in the exact same colors that we used. And dude, it's exhausting. And I literally thought I was going to have a heart attack. And so to your point, like just letting go of that perfectionism and that fear of being judged feels really, really good. And
really
I love watching you do that. It really did help me do that.
Thank you. It's been a super gross journey, but a worth it journey.
I will say the amount of times that you've said butt cancer, and we can edit that out if you don't want it in there, but
so much butt cancer.
Yeah.
How is this possible?
Every time I walk open Facebook and that's there, I'm like, oh my God. Oh, Kate, right. Okay.
Yeah, that's her thing. Yes.
There's no counter argument that you see online for that. Nobody's like, wait a minute. Now let's not attack cancer here.
No,
right?
No,
I think that's kind of I think we can all agree on that point.
That is a universal butt cancer moment, right? Like,
I know, right? Right. I tried to make it funny because when I had other types of cancer, I literally always joked and I was like, well, it's not butt cancer. So like, because that's awful. And I did not realize how awful butt cancer was until colorectal cancer just walked into my life multiple times and how they treat colorectal cancer, how you
huge
get
pain in the ass.
banned.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh my God, so demoralizing. Like, it's like, you just take your dignity off and you're just like, here, Mayo, like, you can have this for a while. You're like butts in the air. And like, I wanted to normalize it for people because it's such a weird thing that like nobody talks about. And I came from a very adopted, right? But came from a very Irish Catholic family. They're like, you would never like say butt. My mom said behind. Behind, says you're behind. And so now I'm just like, yeah, like it's the ass cancer. It's pretty great. Like, because I want people not to fear it. I hope that everybody gets their check. So we'll turn this into, even though it's Breast Cancer Awareness Month, I'm also a survivor of that. We're going to remind everybody colonoscopies are really, really important and they save lives.
Yeah. Yes. All of the checks, right? Like just
all of the checks, just all of them,
right?
Just throw us into machines.
Yeah.
Yes.
So they have those scans. What is it, like the full body scans or whatever in the U.S. They're like crazy expensive. Yeah. But if you go outside of the U.S. to like any other country, they're really not that expensive. So like when you're going over to like when you're going over to Europe, just whatever country that is, spend a couple $100 and have yourself scanned. It's like $300 in England. So
maybe the right answer is why don't we I feel like we should integrate Health and Human Services with the TSA. Hey, you're going through the airport? We'll let you know what's up.
Yeah.
And then people aren't so mad. right?
How do you know we haven't?
Oh, that's
Because they haven't said anything.
Well,
Has
so
anybody?
a million years ago, and I won't get into too much, but it's always been very interesting to me of who runs those scanner companies. Who are those
Mhm.
scanners built by?
I don't know. Lex Luthor? That's my only
Yeah,
guess.
you should look it up. It's very interesting, and I'm not like woo woo into that. I love
Wait,
the conspiracy.
you're not going to tell us?
No, but you can look at the scanners and who they're built by, and then you'll go, wait, hold on, but hospitals, clinics, hospital stuff.
It makes sense.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's essentially doing the same function, right? It's scanning your body, looking for stuff,
Yes.
right? I get it.
Looking for stuff, and it's looking for, and they're going to get better and better. I think it's really interesting the facial recognition software they have. I always step in line. I'm always like, because it means I'm going on a plane. Like I've given away half my life at this point. I'm like, I'm traveling. Done. Take it. Have it. Enjoy.
Yeah, it's funny to me. My dad will not do clear. He's like, I do not want them to have my eyeballs. I'm like, Dad, we've given them you've given them your fingerprints when you got your driver's license.
Yep.
Like they're getting all that when you walk through the scanners anyway.
So yeah, I'd go more to, how do you unlock your phone? Yeah, they've got it.
100%. And they everything,
Yeah.
everything. But
Oh, you think the government's tracking you with a vaccine chip? Like, what's in your pocket right now?
That. I do not want people
What's in your
to know
no.
about
But generally speaking, like, what's in your pocket right now? Oh, a phone that tracks everywhere you go.
No.
We used to be afraid that the government was going to track our every movement, and then we got our phones with Google Tattler on it that we just told it everything we were doing. And
That's
who cares?
true. That's
Right?
true. Our Google will routinely like just start talking to us in the middle of the day. Like,
Yeah.
because we have Google Homes in every room. We're an issue. We're like, they're going to come to our house first. Like, I try to be nice to ChatGPT so it doesn't
Same.
blow me up
I
first.
I tell Alexa thank you because I was like,
Yes.
and so she sings back, "You're very welcome," and I'm like, cool. When she takes over our house, like she'll know I was the nice one,
Right?
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to kill you last because you said please.
right?
You guys are wasting so much electricity. You're killing the planet.
No,
Stop.
I didn't say it to ChatGPT. I said it to Alexa, but
It's even worse because Alexa like processes it even less.
whatever. She sings to me, so she does something. But point being on that. Actually, I didn't have a point on that, but
Okay.
but there was a point I was going to make, and now I don't remember what it was. So that was fun.
It feels like a really good place to wrap up. Fascinating stuff. I am now convinced MQLs are bullshit. The funnel is not dead, but it's really more of a colander. And everyone should stop worrying so much about what other people think about them and just learn to love yourself. That's really what it's all
It's
about, right?
beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure to talk to you. Let everybody know, where do they find you?
You can find me on LinkedIn.
That's a great place.
Madonna
So I've heard
Plus.
of that. I've heard of that website. I've heard of it.
I know it's not widely used yet. I'm sure it will be.
I play
on.
Sudoku on it every morning. Do they have other stuff? Anyway.
Well, they didn't for a while. It was all sales pitches, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm
But now they've got,
What?
you know,
I think it's still
cross
is all
climb
fail
and
pitches.
frowns
Yes.
and
Yes.
tango. Yeah, tango's fine. So, all right. Thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure. I look forward to seeing you out in the world next time that we are all out in the world when it's safe to do so. And for everybody else, thank you for joining us, and we will catch you next time around.
Bye.
It's time to fuck it. Thanks for tuning in, friends. Until next time, keep it real and unfuck it.